Alright, folks, welcome back, everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第87天 is day 287. Two things. Yesterday went pretty well, right? Pretty well. Both of them are kind of disappointing. Jian was one. Which is arrow and fun. Indignant or angry. Indignant is such a fancy word. Alright, that's it for yesterday's recap. We got a book it. Got two art prompts to do today.
骄傲
骄傲 let's see. 骄 is what is this? Proud. So proud plus arrogant, which is still proud or arrogant or conceited, right?
骄傲悬殊
悬殊suspend 殊 different, suspend different, vastly different. Interesting. Describe the degree in which two things are different, so much so that it seems they are suspended. Okay. It looks like Shen has an extender. It has an extent. We'll see how often that comes up before we add it to it. 悬殊
悬殊
vastly different.
遗憾
遗憾 I actually know someone that I'm not sure if this is how their name works. 遗憾 because that would be unfortunate. Naming someone regret. No, I don't think so. I think it's yi instead of yi. 遗憾 so yi is leave behind. Han resentment or regret. Oh, that's regret, right? Okay, so leave behind regret is regret. It feels like leaving behind yi can be in the front and it can complement the thing following.
遗憾钻研
钻研pavement. Oh, this is the drill. Yen. Yen is build or sharpen or research. Interesting. I think I have to keep in mind of sharpen. Yen is the Wadikani sharpen does quite. I like the sharpen part. So you're like drilling to sharpen or drilling deeper, right? So to delve into. To research intensely, yeah. How you spell intensely?
谦虚
谦虚 modest 虚 void. Interesting. Modest void. I feel like void is starting to become more of a lack situation, like 欠 or no 欠 and 缺 kind of situation, where if you put 缺 and 欠 with something else, like a characteristic, it takes on that characteristic, or it modifies that characteristic in the same direction. So like a shortcoming would have 欠 in it, or like 缺, but the shortcoming is not because it lacks the other character, which would also be negative. It's kind of interesting how frequently that shows up. This one is also one, in my opinion, like what I would think of is it's void of modesty. So if it's void of modesty, then it would be arrogance. But instead, it's more like modest, and it's void of whatever modesty is. So it's void of, you have to interpret it as it's a void of something. What is it void of that makes one modest? Probably pride. So yeah, see, to the point that the conceited parts of their being is in mere void. Yeah, that's kind of it happens more often than not.
谦虚
Okay. All right.
骄傲
most of the time the two characters are in the same direction, but occasionally when it comes to like modifiers and stuff, there's kind of an opposite direction from time to time. And then you have the negation, the classic negation ones. At least I think of them more as the classic negation ones.
谦虚 钻研
钻研
悬殊
悬殊 This one is a little rough. It's a little rough.
遗憾
Mood, feelings, 情绪 Shu is thread ends. Okay, thread ends feel like kind of a supplementary character too. To get an idea of someone's overall mood, just grab one thread end of their current feelings and follow it to the end. Yeah, okay. This one can be a little problematic too. We'll see if we can get a little bit more of a feel for how
情绪
she works. Sorry, not shu. She. 情绪 gotta figure out how 没有树 是 shu not 绪 前绪 okay.
海湾
Taiwan makes sense. Outer Bay, which is still a bay, or Sea Bay.
海湾悬挂
悬挂 oh, interesting. Suspend, yeah, suspend and hang, which is still hang. Okay.
悬挂 悬念
悬念 to miss and suspend, which is suspends full. Interesting. Okay.
悬念
悬念
Taiwan
Taiwan makes sense. Taiwan. We finally made it to Taiwan. Whoops. Taiwan.
Taiwan
All right.
情绪，悬念，海湾，悬挂，台湾，
哎，
思绪，
思绪。Thought or contemplate or consider. Thought, consider. She. Thread ends. Train of thought. Okay, I'm kind of feeling out. Interesting. So it has an element of the process. I feel like she is more like process. So like thought process, train of thought, feeling process. That's your way you feel about things, which is still summarized as feelings. So the thread ends is like the line of thread, like the process, right? The journey. I like it. I kind of like this character. I might actually, I'm really feeling this character. It kind of embodies a lot of things. Oh, you know what it also reminds me of? 这. It reminds me of 这. Like inging is the process of inging, like a gerund. But 这 is more common, but yeah, this feels like an inging thing. Like your feelings, your thinking, whenever this is it. So I guess we're gonna try to stick that into our brain somewhere to keep us consistent here.
思绪，
思绪. Train of thought is thinking.
缺憾，
缺憾. Oh yeah, see, this is a good example. So this is lack, regret. It's not a negation, it's a directional. So what you lack, you also, when you're lacking something, you're also regretful about it, right? So it's in the same direction. It's not a negation like bu han, like not regretful. This is lacking, but it's lacking in the sense of explaining why it's regret. I was just talking about this, which is a kind of a coincidence, but not really. I think this comes up far more common than other mechanics. The other mechanic is a supplementary character. I call it a supplementary character because the character is explaining something of the other character. So there's a dominant character and there are modifier characters, and those characters just say, oh yeah, feeling plus is. So is that feeling is still feeling, or something like that. Or like love next to feeling, but it's still love. That type of thing, where there are certain characters that reinforce because it's kind of nice to pair up the characters, you know, the double character thing. I don't, it doesn't have to be that way, because there are triple characters, there are standalone characters like 是我, like things like that. But the way HanziHero is doing these things, it makes it feel like you can group those things together. And you kind of feel it out a lot of times. When you're learning a new character, immediately you get into a rope. It's like, well, you know what? This character is probably paired with this character. And it can be complemented or supplemented by this character. And you can probably put this character before this character because it's usually telling you what is after. And then you can have a character that's before it. So there are two-way complements, right? There are characters that often appear before or after that complements or supplements. And you kind of start getting into the point of where like, okay, well, that character is definitely going to come before or after. You feel that sort of in Japanese as well, but it doesn't happen as often. Usually it's the formal terms that overlap with Chinese terms, which still translates to Japanese. So some of the things like, okay, these are probably two kanji that pairs up as a jukugo, right? Many of those jukugos are going to come up here, and vice versa. It's kind of neat to see them happen as you're going. Okay. 缺憾
缺憾 履
the spine. Was it spine for... No, it wasn't. I think that's bath or Wanikani. Okay. Lü. So we finally got Lü. A single character. And I'm gonna do one thing that Wanikani does, and we're gonna retroactively use this meaning if it's not the same, but this happens to be the same meaning. But others, like others where there's, you learn it and then you can retroactively use as components. I think I like the way Wanikani does it, where they go backwards and they introduce the radical once the character is obtained that's made up of other radicals. I actually disagree with a lot of people who say that there's no point in the redundancy in either way. Like there's no point in knowing the parts that make up spine, for example, like 2 mouths and a drop or something. 2 mouths and a drop could be seen as spine. And then the other way around. I kind of like doing both to see what else you can pull out, right? Louis is in the basement of the house, rummaging through boxes of old goods. He pulls out a spine and looks at it with appreciation. He plans on decorating with gems and wearing it as a necklace. What the? I mean, I got nothing. I feel like it's more like spines of his enemies situation, but then it starts sounding like Napoleon. No, not Napoleon. There's no Napoleon. Julius Caesar. And it ends up sounding like Julius as well. What can we make Louis into? The decorative thing might be the angle that we're gonna use for Louis from now on. Like extravagancy, right? So you rummaging through, he found a spine and looks at it, and he plans on decorating with gems and wearing. I think that's a good way to distinguish between Julius Caesar and Louis. Not that it's supposed to be historically accurate. I'm using it as a way because a lot of the characters require more differentiation so that they can scale up more. Like Timmy Turner is kind of like Jimmy Neutron, but with a science versus magic angle. And then Dumbledore and Gandalf, one uses a wand and one uses a staff. One's more pagan and the other one's more like interacting with children, right? Like a teacher of sorts. Gandalf is less so that. He's more of a guide. And then we have like the Hulk and Shrek. They're both green and they're kind of strong historically based on like the ogre versus the Hulk. So I don't know if Kevin intentionally did that or not, but they seem to pair up very regularly. Like Link and Zelda, Link and Legolas, right? Pulling from pop culture, a lot of times they came in pairs. They have different versions of fantasy, different versions of magic, different versions of children's cartoons, and even ones from the same show can interact with each other, but at least their archetypes are different in relation to each other. Like, for example, Zelda can be differentiated from Link because they belong to the same franchise. SpongeBob can be differentiated from Patrick. However, SpongeBob is a goofball, which can be associated with Goofy from Looney Tunes. Is it Looney Tunes? I think so. Or is it just Goofy? The Goof Troop? I'm not even sure what the Disney's universe is like. But Goofy and SpongeBob as they're Goofy. And then we have like pranksters, right? Bart Simpson. And actually Bart Simpson is pretty solid. standing alone. There are some that definitely stand alone fairly well. Anyways, more on that in more on that in less than 2 weeks from now. We have 13 days, or actually 12 days left, including today, before the 300 review for HanziHero. So the focus of HanziHero's 300-day review, unlike Wanikani's, is to focus on differentiating the mnemonics. In Wanikani's side, we're doing the kana stuff. We're creating the read system. We're redeveloping and adding on top of the read system from Wanikani by creating and attaching a static word to all of the reads to construct a pseudo thing on top of Wanikani. In HanziHero, we're reconstructing the archetypes of all the characters and the locations to filter my image while adopting most of the stuff that they have. Like, for example, the immaculate lawn in front of the English manor, the hot spring in the temple, the medical beds in the infirmary, the loose wires in the electricity plant. These are very specific things that one can develop over time. And they create enough nuance that you don't get it caught up. Like electrical skeletons is a very specific one that is reserved for Link. The electrical skeletons, right? Things like that. Yeah, things like that.
吕
Okay.
轰
It looks like we've changed the balance. It seems like we're getting 8 characters each day now. So we get 8 new characters as opposed to 7. Hong, let's see. Wow, that's a lot of cars. Rumble. Hong. Harry Potter's in front of the temple in the rock garden, running from 3 monks, each driving a car. Oh boy, that's not gonna fly for me. Are chasing after him. Their cars rumble as they chase Harry Potter. Harry Potter casts a spell that makes a gigantic rumble noise and flips their car over the right. Gonna be the reverse. So Harry Potter is in front of the temple, right? Demonstrating what cars do, right? To the monks. It's like magic. Although this could be seen as a Jimmy Neutron thing. Or maybe like he used his magic to materialize and demonstrate what cars do. Like magic. Practically is. What? Hongjia. Rumble. Explode. Bomb. Interesting. House party. Oh, that's kind of cute. I don't even know what that right character is. Cause a sensation. Ooh, rumble. Move. Interesting.
轰图
Ooh, oh, we got convex. Okay, convex. I mean, it looks like convex, right? Like, it's convex.
图
This character is at the butt end of a lot of memes, especially with Japanese and Chinese. So, fine. But we didn't get this character in Japanese yet. Oh, wait. Tool? Tom is inside the living room of the house, partially buried. His head stick out of a huge convex pile of dirt. Nice. That is on top of the carpet. And his face is all bruised from Jerry. Okay, I got you. So we can just imagine that as a pile of dirt. Nice.
土
Cool. The reason why it's tool is also tool. Tool is dirt. Okay. All right.
思绪轰
Okay.
旅
Okay.
图 缺憾
缺憾. All right. Did we get concave? No. Tortoise. Oh my gosh. Tortoise is only going to be ever used for tortoise. Will I ever write this character? Let me look. What do you do there? Maybe I feel like this way is better, and then wow. Maybe you do this, then you that is wild. There is some questionable stroke orders for this, but it does look like a tortoise. So if you bend your head to the like, maybe bend your head this way. Okay. Or a turtle. Turtle or tortoise.
龟
Gui. Yep. Wu Gui. Right? Wu Gui. Oh, I wonder what the Wu part is for. Yeah, Wu Gui. Right. Character. Alright, so Goofy is in front of the beach house where he's walking his pet tortoise in the sand. It's a strange sight to see a dog with a pet tortoise. I love it. Oh, Hai Gui. And Gui Ke. Oh, I don't have shell yet. Okay. Sweet.
龟
Okay.
虎
Ooh, oh, we finally got the magic stick too. Divination. Wow. Bugs Bunny. These are tough. Like, I can't emphasize how difficult it is to go back to rote memory. Like, this is the essence of rote memory. To try to learn a character's static where the character only has one tether. So there's a singular point of failure, right? However, we can create more redundancy by putting Wu in other things. And then it gets reinforced as divination, right? That's kind of what I do. That's kind of what we're doing now for HanziHero. Wanikani actually does this. It looks like a hand holding a divining rod. Yeah, basically. Yep. And one way is I'm doing the opposite now, where Wanikani kind of does it, where now that I know it's magic stick, this character is now officially magic stick and divination. Or we can even combine it and call this stick a divining rod, which is what I was thinking of, a divining rod, which will combine the two. And that's what we do. Like, obviously it's not in HanziHero, it's usually in one direction. I go in both directions, or like multiple directions as I'm going. So the lovely thing about I enjoy Z about Anki is that you can do that with your cards. Like, the cards can be modified over time. So as you're learning, you're encouraged to evolve, matriculate it, right? Because the information itself is static. So only you can make it dynamic, or you go find someone else to have more static information, right? Alternatively, we can retroactively do these, which I enjoy. Why SRS works this way, where I constantly filter in things as we go. So Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny is in the basement of the house trying out a magic stick. He found recently. Everything he taps into a huge orange carrot that has divination inscribed into it. Everything he taps turns into a huge orange carrot that has a divination inscribed into it. He taps a chair, turns into a carrot, and reads, "If you don't run, Elmer Fudd will catch you." Oh, because of divination. Yeah, let's go with it. These ones are tough. I think these are really hard retroactively. When you're looking at this, all you see is like this, and you're like, it's a stick. What are you gonna do? You either think you remember it's a divining rod, and then it still doesn't get you closer to bugs other than, oh yeah, now we gotta think of large carrots. So that's kind of the goal here. We just gotta think of gigantic carrots.
5
Warning him of his imminent doom.
找
Oh, this is the same. Oh, we're finally hitting all the stuff. Yeah, HSK 7 through 9 is interesting. They're filled with characters that just stand alone on their sub. I kind of like it. They start most of the characters that have multiple components are earlier than this. So now we finally got Claw after many months. So James Bond is in the basement of the barn looking for a missing sacred claw as part of his mission backlog. James Bond missions. He opens the storage cabinet, and right next to some bucket of milk and manure, basement, right, the cellar of the barn, is a claw. Operation Cow's Claw is now complete. All right, I got you.
找
All right, we got tortoise. 龟
龟
tortoise 虎
虎
divination 找
找
claw. Nice, and our lessons are complete. Yeah, we're finally breaking into the what I would call the aftermath, the HSK 7 to 9 aftermath. It's the flavor stuff now. All right, let's get into it. 156. I had to on my nose. Let's get into our reviews. All right.
孙 墨
All right. Whoops, I added a G. That's bad. Bad news bears. T. We worked on this. Hold up. Heck. Oh, 字. Sorry, that's Japanese. I get the T and 字 immediately. We're still in Japanese mode for that. It's fine. 字, 字节. Okay. 字. Oh, 连字.
的 帘子
Whoops. That was a little quick.
焦点
放大镜的焦点
How do you overthink? It's like doing too much. Focal point, yes. Okay.
吉
Oh boy. G. Auspicious? Lucky? Okay. Pretty sure
扭转，
这次会议可能扭转决策。
or twist. Twist. We'll use twist. Heck. Oh no. It's oh yes.
海拔，
这座山的海拔很高。
Since HanziHero includes sentences, does it teach grammar at all? It does not. Yeah, no grammar. Yeah. One thing is very excellent about Chinese though. I'm not sure if you connect the stuff. When it comes to Chinese, a lot of the words and phrases have implicit grammar in them. So there's a possibility that when you're learning enough vocabulary, you might end up internalizing the grammar. Especially if you're really attentive in English, like with your English structure and stuff. So it can click to some extent in Chinese. Now, it's very hard for me to know if that's because I grew up around Chinese or that it's true for others. As far as I know, for some people who like do focus on vocabulary, when you see this type of thing over and over again, it actually can end up being intuitively internalized to English. So like, because it's relying on your context. No, yeah, like you're an English first language speaker, so a lot of sentences just make sense grammatically. Yeah, so you might end up getting used to hearing that melody, the tonality melody. So like 这座 right 这座香的这是什么海拔很高 right? So you already know like this 座 this has got to be like this. That has to be a counter. It doesn't even matter what type of counter. You know that it's a counter for a mountain, and that mountain's elevation 很 is and 高 is tall. So that mountain has high elevation or is very tall in other ways. But you can say it in many different ways because Chinese plays very nice with English intuition, in my opinion. Like, you can say this in many ways and you'll still get the same point to you in English. You can interpret this like literally if you want, and like this unit mountains of elevation is tall or high. Or you can say the mountain is very tall. Like the mountain is tall. Or the mountain has high elevation, whichever suits you. So I feel like, yeah, it doesn't teach grammar, but if you activate like the sentence thing and then you hear it often and you see it often, the tonality and the sounds and the arrangement kind of allows you to really play nice with English first language speakers, in my opinion, right? And it's really hard to know if it's because I grew up around it. I actually speak English in Chinese structure to my parents. So if I have to inculcate, like, my parents don't speak English or they don't understand English, like in a way of constructive and input. So what happens is when I speak and I need to replace words, my English is already in Chinese format. So whenever I like speak a certain word, that English word that inserts where it is, it fits and the English still sounds okay. So that could play a role in it. However, if you're learning Chinese like that, so like you're just saying English words here, like this counter mountain of elevation is tall, it still works. In English, it still happens really, really well. Now, the thing I would say is, of course, it's still useful to learn some grammatical stuff because maybe you want to start making your own sentences sooner rather than later. Then learning some grammatical structure allows you to start constructing your own sentences out of, without reading and stuff to your own. which that means output is not the same as like inputting from native response. So if you're really concerned about sounding native and native order, that's something that requires a lot of this type of practice, like looking at examples. But if you want grammatical stuff and just want to play around with it, to me, it's still understandable. My parents, when they speak English, they speak in Chinese order. Like, so what I mean is, even their limited English, they would place it in this order, and English still accommodates that. So it's one of those things like, are you a doer? Or do you like to wait for the ideal moment in which you can speak native things? I would say you can do both. It's really fun to do both. Like my favorite, one of my favorite techniques for outputting, if you're only learning characters, is understand and try to play with the relationship between the character. So like, what does this make you feel? That feels like ocean now. Like if this is anything to do with water. So if you're thinking, so what is a water fountain? Like a water fountain, you're like, I don't know what a water fountain is, but hai could work, or shui, maybe shui, and then a spring, shui chen, and then, you know, like occasionally someone would say like, what the heck are you trying to say? Water spring? Oh, you mean fountain. And it could actually be fountain. Actually, now that I think about it, I am actually kind of curious. Oh no, it's not. But what happens is you're practicing. So I said water spring, water combined with spring, to try to get fountain, but it's not. The idea is you're using your stuff, yeah, right? You're using the characters, even if they're in isolation. It takes less time, in my opinion, to go from that, adjusting that, and getting comfortable with that, and feeling out the language while you're trying to become native, or like see what the actual ones are. And in both ways, it kind of offsets the boredom. I would say offsets the engagement. No, yeah, you've seen a few videos like, if English had Chinese grammar, it's really interesting and really cool. I think that's one of the really fun activities that you can do. It's the one activity that I do that connects me immediately with someone who is learning a second language for the first time, because to me, I focus on that. If you can do that, it becomes very, very fun. Like, instead of demonizing and stigmatizing what you already naturally do, try to bridge it. And one of the things is, yeah, I actually read this in English the way you read it with Chinese grammar. That's how it's been. And you might be thinking, well, are you fluent? And I'm like, well, if fluency is being comfortable and responding in a timely fashion that is enough to speak to my parents, then yes, the answer is yes. You can still do all that weird, like goofy translation and stuff. I think where a lot of it falls apart is when someone emphasizes like, oh, you want to be master, you want to be like the best of the best, you want to be as fast as possible, then whatever I'm saying is very off-putting. It's incredibly off-putting because it's technically a waste of time if you're doing it that way. To me, it makes me smile because it connects me with people who speak multiple languages. I personally, in my opinion, do not resonate with someone who thinks that speaking multiple languages at the same time and interacting and understanding, like, that is not good. It's not a thing that you want to do. You want to compartmentalize and only behave in a certain way, and that has its uses. Like, for example, if I'm in Japan, then I would compartmentalize things. When I'm talking to other language learners, I don't compartmentalize it because we are individuals who, in our mindset, we are thinking in multiple languages on a daily basis. When you go somewhere and you're trying to output it, you can still seem like it. Are they able to speak Mandarin in addition to Fujianese? Yeah, so that's the thing, right? do I know how this is said in Fujianese though? Ji买ji是 ji 香 di 香 yeah 香 is still the same 香的香你是 香你海边海拔 I don't know what 海拔 is 海拔 I don't actually know what elevation is 拔呀高 right instead of gao it's gao and ya instead of hen I have no idea how to say elevation, so the downside of Fujianese is it's not taught, it's spoken, and I don't know all I would say is the mountain is very tall, so he xiang ya gao, right? And then just skip over elevation. This is why we're in HSK 6+. But I think a great silver lining is that an English first language speaker will kind of be really at home over time. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence or not. I asked my parents like why don't they learn English, and apparently it doesn't work the other way around, or to them they don't think it's the other way around, but somehow English works the other way around. I have no idea. It's one of those things like people often get used to bending English as the vehicle. So because you're so used to using English as a vehicle to bridge other languages, that expectation produced a lot of routines in you that expect to do that. Meanwhile, the other way around, Chinese is not the same. Like when you have a Chinese speaker, they are not incentivized to view their language as something that would bend and need to mold into another language, right? So when you're speaking a language that isn't expected or have the mindset and stuff, the natural development, like these are natural languages, right? So they would have to adapt to their circumstances. So oftentimes, instead of a language like Chinese and Japanese to adopt English, as in like mold the Japanese into English, they use borrowed words. You know, you do loan words instead. And Chinese have been pretty refractory to that. Obviously, Japanese is a whole different story because of katakana and stuff like ice cream. Just kidding. What is a good one? Hotdog. You know, bakupaku. That type of thing. Or kohi, right? Kohi. That's and kohi is not even like I don't think English was the origin. I think it's actually Spanish or something of his Spanish origin. Possibly. It's definitely not Germanic, I think. But that's kind of the idea, right? And cafe, right? Pretty interesting. Yeah, English has way more irregularities, you think. Yeah, the irregularities are what makes English, like, in my opinion, the essence of English makes English speakers prepared to willy-nilly make a Glish version of other languages. Because of its irregularities, it's also a chicken or the egg thing. Like, English has irregularities because there are many speakers of English. And because of that, there's a mentality and inference of behavior to make English bend into other languages. The reverse is rarely true, and I think is largely not necessarily due to its mechanical complexity, but more of the mindset of the people. The culture does not anticipate that. Like, adulterating Japanese by a mirroring or adopting English grammar is something preposterous. Like, the moment someone says, oh, this is what Japanese is understood with English grammar. Here it is. And like, no, the system is so in a way that it can be very unintelligible, like further unintelligible. So Chinese happens to be that way for my parents, and yet when I'm using English and I'm learning Chinese, I don't feel the same way. So it's one of those really fun little, is it mechanically difficult or objectively difficult, or is it subjectively difficult? That's a great question. And I'm sure that there's $1 billion answer somewhere in there in the future. But for now, I do earnestly believe that if you're English first, I use English as a common language most of the time. Hearing this over and over again, and you know the parts, you can connect. It's often that a person can connect the dots. Now, it will not necessarily help you with producing it, constructing it. That still requires grammar training and a participating conversation. But for reading and listening purposes, it's quite, English already has that built in. Like, what I mean is, when you're trying to connect this with this, and you know the separate vocabulary words, the strings kind of fold into each other. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of a plug for Chinese over Japanese, but when you're learning Chinese, you can also learn Japanese. A slight plug, because by the way, I'm doing traditional. I'm not sure if you decide to do traditional or simplified. I spent a year doing Duolingo last year, and Duolingo uses simplified Chinese. So actually most of this year was seeing the traditional counterpart to the simplified counterparts. So, and then if you're learning traditional Chinese, it overlaps with Japanese more than simplified Chinese, but it's still not that big of a difference. Like, what I mean is, even in simplified terms, you can still trace it. You're going the simplified route? Okay. Yeah. So some of this might look a little wonky, but you can still totally figure things out. Even based on your radicals, you can probably still figure out some of these sentences. The thing I wanted to highlight is Wanikani makes me feel that Japanese is more rigid. Despite being context dependent, English is incredibly rigid because of its rigidity, it's irregular. However, in Japanese, it's, we talk about context-based things. That creates a sense of slight looseness. So you can kind of like substitute words in a way, but maybe possibly inappropriately, but there's a looseness to it. And in Chinese, it's even looser than that. So because of that looseness, you kind of wiggle your way around with English. You've heard that if you learn simplified first, it's easier to learn Chinese after rather than vice versa. It's true. Or at least it's true for me. So I can confirm it is much, like, it's difficult to unsee the simplified characters or where you think the simplified characters are. And obviously I use Duolingo. Like, I completed the Duolingo Chinese course. It kind of takes you up to, I'm a little like, maybe after this, I think Duolingo has a mix, and most of it covers like HSK 1 through 4, and then it sprinkles in like 5 and 6, and we're kind of the last 2 or so months is after this. And still, like, and then when you have the foundations of both, you kind of just go back and forth, in my opinion. It gets, because it doesn't come up frequently enough. The difference between, in my opinion, the difference between simplified and traditional, after you get all the other characters in which overlaps between simplified and traditional, it's kind of sufficient to figure out what the character that you're missing means. And then understanding the flow of the sentence, it's actually kind of fun. It's fun to say, oh, so that is what that character is. Actually, this happens in Japanese as well. Whenever I get a character, I'm like, wait a minute, that's the kanji for that. So this must be the Hanzi for that. And then so forth and so forth. So it works in the Japanese and Chinese way as well, where if there's a slight difference, you make the connections because there are slight differences. And as opposed to looking at slight differences as a point of confusion, it can create confusion for sure. Alternatively, those little tight slight differences also creates the connections between them on first discovery. I've been loving this year. This year has been fantastic for characters. Okay, I'm gonna take a jab.
分钟
Yeah.
每隔几分钟，
So right now, I largely rely on intuition for this until I have to pause, right? And so tuition. If I fail, I guess again. Like, so I go around until a couple rounds, and then I use the mnemonic. Is typically how I go about this stuff.
会
Sometimes I change my answer mid answer while I'm typing. Oh, I don't actually. Okay. We gotta use mnemonics with this. Anyways. Dropping. Field. Fingers.我们3分钟后开始 something.开始广播
广播
我们3分钟后开始广播。
which is broadcast. So I actually sort of was unsure about it, but you can still read the sentences, which that's kind of why we read sentences. It says we in 3 minutes, after 3 minutes we'll start to broadcast. I thought this was qual at first. I'm like, it's kind of extensive. Qual is related to this. It could be extensive or expand, but guang is also to extend and expand. So you can feel two characters kind of lining up. And then because it's expanding, what are you going to start in 3 minutes? And then that has to be ball, which is to broadcast. So that's how I got about it, around it anyway. And that's, in my opinion, what happens when you start reading sentences, right? When you do graded readers and whatnot, it would be even more elaborate, so you can figure it out quicker that way. I'm gonna say twist. Probably twist. What? Twist. And 这次会议，这次会议很能扭转决策。
会
Or meeting. Do they go with meeting? Okay. Fine.
绿茶
喝杯绿茶，
The very first thing you learn in Duolingo. Green tea. They always start with some like a recognizable food item and drink. Green tea. 绿茶. Or 红茶 maybe. I don't remember which one specifically now. This is focal point. Whoops. That's moody. How does this work? So you turn and sprain. Or twist. You turn and twist. What's another way to say like turn and twist? I mean... Maybe like a turning. What? Oh, it's just to turn. Okay. Alright, that's fine. We're good. Like, how you turn and twist? Turn. Okay. How did this coyote thing work? What? It's not Jie? Wait. Oh, Lian. Oh, 是Lian. Dang. Turtle shell.
穷困，
这个家庭十分穷困。
It's kind of poor, but what's another way to say trapped in poor? Impoverished or like unlucky, destitute, yeah. Or poor. Poor is it's a very fancy word. Destitute. How do you decide when to undo an answer and what does it actually do? It just brings it back around. So I just undo the answer until I give up. That's how I go about it. So I think about it through every time. I have to cycle through it like 3 or 4 times to get different angles at it. So I don't count errors and mistakes. I attempts. So I actually don't use the mistake thing. Yeah, so I go through intuition first. So how do I know when to undo? If I'm doing intuition, then there's a chance it's going to be wrong, right? So immediately I go back around and then I stop. I refresh. Then I read the context sentence if there is a vocabulary word. So I do multiple attempts doing different approaches to it. And it's about understanding how frequently those mistakes occur, where the weaknesses are. So I allow myself to make mistakes, and then I also allow myself to make attempts. And the nice thing about HanziHero is there's an undo button already built in. And it's Control Z. I think it's Control Z. I've done it so many times I don't even know if it's Control Z anymore. I'm pretty sure it's Control Z. Which is undo. The same undo shortcut for like Windows if you're on a Windows. Yeah. And I am at a loss.
磨
Okay, I gotta think about it. So that's when I gotta think about it, and we're gonna do like some deep diving. Heck, that's a loose end. Where does the... I think the whole thing is something. And that's what's making it a problem. I think the left thing, the whole thing is one thing. Instead of dropping dollhouse and field. Next to discuss. 法院正在 something 议这起案件 or yeah 期 the onion. Yeah. No, that's 这题. Right now. I'm gonna take a jab at it for now. Let's go with... Okay, it's not that.
作废，
我的签证已经作废了。
Pretty sure. Okay, I mean make invalid is fine. I'm okay with that. To make invalid, to become invalid.
自怜，
我们需要勇气，而不是自怜。
What?
“电源
Oh.
没有电源的电脑是无用的。
Okay. Uh.
港
Heck. We're gonna do yes. Okay. Oh, that's probably not.
农
Oh, I worked on you. Heck! I don't want to talk about it.
欺负，
同学们不应该互相欺负。
Oops.
墓地，
墓地里有很多墓碑。
其
Like if you want like a personal opinion, like a personal opinion anecdote thing, I absolutely love HanziHero far more than Wanikani. And one of the major reasons is probably because of personal bias. And the personal bias is like it's a system I'm familiar with. So the way HanziHero went about creating the infrastructure, despite having a learning curve for the information, the way the things are being built is the way I build things. So in a way, it allowed me to catch up really quickly, and then I started creating my own things with the information. So I spent less time learning how to use the system. Just like it wasn't convoluted to me, but the learning like SpongeBob and all the actual learning like rote memory stuff does require a bit of time. But Wanikani is like, it's fun as well to some extent. However, here's the flip side. I love HanziHero's things, but I learned more about things that challenge me in Wanikani. So actually HanziHero is less rewarding learning the system. Making Wanikani work is more rewarding. So while Wanikani is quote unquote less fun, and HanziHero is more fun to scrap by because I'm already scrappy in the way that HanziHero is, one is a little bit more rewarding to try to get to work versus something that already works. Also, to clarify, you meant convoluted in a technical sense, like not with a negative. Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. The technical side of things are convoluted because it's things you have to get used to, right? And Wanikani is even more convoluted for me. Like, it is incredibly convoluted. Like, why did you use this one thing? So I started grouping them, right? It's convoluted until you find order in the madness, right? Or some sort of ordered chaos and then exceptions. And Wanikani is more rewarding, trying to make the convolution less convoluted and then ironing out the bridges and stuff, especially at later stages. I said this before where Wanikani has a lower entry point. One of the things about their design is it has a lower entry point. HanziHero has a high entry point. So to individuals that I would say, and this is the measure of convolution, like the measure of technicality. A high entry means that you have to get over the barrier, the learning curve is higher for the person. More people, like we're talking about statistically, it's more likely that HanziHero feels like an early investment. So you need to early invest before you see how it picks up, because it addresses something down the line. It addresses scaling and building down the line. And then Wanikani is like, it's fast, it's faster because it's relying on your intuition. Like, for example, what do you think Sen is? Centaur. Okay, Centaur sounds like Sen, but it doesn't account for the idea that eventually your mnemonics are going to be hammered by needing to look for near rhymes, right? And then the near rhymes might not check out. And so when you get into like the nuances of stuff, that near rhyme ain't cutting it. It doesn't cut it as well. So what I'm doing now is I'm like adjusting for each other. There are things that I like to take from Wanikani that I'm gonna do in HanziHero and vice versa. In the end, I think HanziHero will take you to the end more than Wanikani, but Wanikani will be more popular in the beginning. So it's kind of like Duolingo. Duolingo is even more popular because it takes a system that works really low entry. It's super low entry. And then what it does is it horizontally adjusts that entry. So basically, it doesn't lead to maturation. You're not in the system. If you're self-selecting yourself into Duolingo, you want a low entry. That's why you chose Duolingo. It makes things feel easy, right? Low entry, the curve is super slow and gradual. Some argue that it's so slow and gradual that you never learn anything meaningful. I suppose. I guess. And then Wanikani is like you'll feel great, in my opinion, up to like level 20. And then you start having to develop your own ways. And that's usually the common thing. You start to read stuff, and then you start ignoring and cherry picking the mnemonics by the time you get to level 20. And for me, HanziHero, instead of cherry picking the mnemonics, you literally, in my opinion, start using the build that they have to create your own mnemonics. You can adjust it on the fly. It's really fast because you had to do it in the beginning. So just replacing things is a lot easier. In Wanikani, there's no structure. Like, there's no structure to the mnemonics other than finding something that sounds like something, and then how it repetitiously occur. So you remember most of the kana because you have to use them. Every time ka comes up, you think of car. Every time sen comes up, you think of centaur. And then you try to bend it into it, which is very similar to HanziHero, with one big exception. HanziHero is organized. It's structured. So you're always thinking in the same order as well. And that's kind of the thing that I'm probably going to adapt for just the trouble words. So much like not doing everything over again, I take whatever I practice in Wanikani and I'm only going to apply it to the trouble words. The words that will fall through like, 10% of the time. and vice versa. When I don't have an idea to expand HanziHero, for example, we just got a stick today, right? Our Boo. If Boo fails, I can use Wanikani's approach, which this is To, by the way, for Wanikani, because it looks like the kana for To. This To, not this To, but To is also a To. So if I thought about Bugs Bunny and have something to do with a toe, I can still get to toe, which is Boo. So you can integrate the two if they're related. And I've done that a couple of times where there's not enough information here, so I'll just take it from Japanese. And I'll put the Japanese into the mnemonic. So when I'm practicing Chinese, I'm also practicing Japanese at the same time. And the rest is history. It's been close to 300 days now, right? That was the plan all along, by the way. When I started 2020, when I started Duolingo, it has always been the plan to do Japanese, then stagger Mandarin, and then top it off with Spanish. Although Spanish kind of fell by the wayside at the moment because turns out I didn't have enough time. And that's the idea of time management. My free time is split between what I can stay in focus. So extra is extra. We have to liberate time to make for extra. So if you're super engaged already and you have like 10 hours of super engaging things, but you only have 2 hours of free time, do the engaging things and then see if they get faster or get not as engaging anymore. And then add the stuff. So you'll always have things in your back pocket. So whenever you get bored and something makes you feel awful or like you're not feeling the day, you can fill that time up with something else intentionally engaging. And that's how I think about learning, right? When you're learning something and you're not engaged and you're like having a tough day, sure, you can power through it, knowing that you're gonna feel better the next day. That's different for people who power through things knowing that tomorrow is going to be the same thing. That's burning out in a negative way. So there is often this like thing about being consistent, right? Like working out, like, oh yeah, you're sore, but try to get a workout in. Consistency build the strengths, the foundations. I agree with that. This is assuming you have the mindset that tomorrow is going to be different. It's going to be better, or it's not always going to be this bad. I think when it comes to learning, it's not that. When people say you have to power through it, they know it's only going to get worse and it's going to get suckier. But what you're doing is you're powering through it because you wanted to get it over with. When I mention about powering through things, I mean you're powering through it because you know it's getting better because you're doing it. And I think that's one of the bigger parts and points that consistently hammers language learners, in my opinion. At least from my experience, the one talking point is staying consistent. And they often talk about staying consistent because their experience continues to be slightly more and more negative over time. Meanwhile, I'm going up. I'm not going down. It's not getting any more like unengaging. It's getting more engaging. The more I learn, the more more information I can use to make it more engaging. So I'm constantly emphasizing using the information I gain immediately. How do I do that? Explaining it to people, recording it, streaming it. I am actively holding myself accountable to the moment I learn a thing. I am also responsible in producing and outputting the thing. So whenever you mention about speaking it out loud or hearing it to yourself and whatnot, that's a way to show that you're producing something. And I understand most people say like, well, if you produce it incorrectly, you'll sound non-native, and you can create bad habits, and it doesn't really learn anything. Like you don't learn anything. It's like, that's fair. Like, it's not new information when you output something in isolation. It does something else that those people don't need. They don't need motivation. They don't need to be consistent. They have willpower and like years of experience probably already. They've already gone through the gauntlet, and they can easily tell you in retrospect, oh, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do output, just input all the time. Like, have you tried to tell kids and talk to new people these days about always inputting? And do you know how many people come out at the end, if they even get to the end, because they never see the fruit of their labor? Consistently see the fruit of labor. And then, you know, the argument would be, oh, but if you're constantly output, you're wasting time. You could, when you're outputting, you could be inputting, so you can speed up your progress. Trust the process. I'm like, I don't think you understand. In my opinion, I would argue against those people and say, I don't think you understand the meaning of that phrase, trust the process. Because the process also involves outputting. Like, you output while inputting to self-assess yourself and encourage yourself to constantly be attentive and invested in your progress. That is process-oriented thinking. You have self-checks. You have routines that create habits, not creating a trust system that is blindly having no gauge, right? So that whole like immersion only thing and trusting the process, I think that is, in my opinion, contentiously, I'm a little contentious about this. They are warping the idea of what process-oriented thinking is to make immersion and input-only theories attractive. And I think the whole idea, in my opinion, personally, when you say trust the process, it involves doing things. Like in art, when you say trust the process, it involves doing it to gain experience in which you self-assess the information that you are gaining and using. That's the process thinking. Like, you do things. In coding, when you say trust the process, you are making things and then reiterating and reflecting upon them and improving upon them. Input only is not a trust the process situation. It's a trust me bro situation, that your goal will happen with you not knowing anything. That's fate. And that's kind of my slight contention about that. Know that the first time, the second time, the third time, it's not going to be perfect. That's the process, right? And it should make you happy, because when you do something, you're doing it and you know how to improve upon it. That is one of the most genuinely fun parts about trusting the process. When you make a mistake, you are encouraged to find out why that mistake happens, and you get to improve upon it. Oh yeah, that was also your experience with Wanikani? Yeah. So hopefully that's what I'm trying to share, like, all the time. Like, I don't want to make it, if I start doing something like, oh, I'm angry at myself because I made a mistake, or I'm angry at myself, oh, now because I'm just gonna complain that this doesn't let me undo things. It's their problem, not my problem. That's not the process. That's a goal. Like, your goal is to be 100% accurate, to be perfect, never getting anything wrong. And if you get something wrong, it doesn't get you closer to your goal. That is goal-oriented thinking. So what I do is I do any way possible to encourage me to get to something. And that's where I cut the line. So if it means throwing out the mistake system and me tracking my own mistakes, that's what I'll do, right? And that's the whole, like, well, how do you know when to undo? I do it until I get the answer. I do it till I run out of ways to get to the answer. And then after I get to the answer, I write a new way to get to the answer. So like eventually I'll give up on something. I'll write it down on a notepad, which I have open right here in the corner. And at the end of my session, I see what I can add to it. So I go back to the mnemonic and I add something to it. I keep most of the stuff the same, I build on it. So my troubles slowly wither away because I'm always working on the things that I am actively forcing myself to keep track of. And now we're here. So there are some ones that are fairly crazy and unrelated. You can track how much trouble I had with very specific ones. Again, it's like 10% of the time. And you can see how elaborate the mnemonics become. And those are great because it reminds me that I did a lot of things. And the tricks and stuff that you learn from the hardest ones are the ones that will set the stage for any new ones that you might encounter in the future. Who knows? Those problems may never occur again. We don't know.
啤酒，
这种啤酒真难喝。
It's fun. I like it.
猪，
I like that HanziHero, like this is gonna make it a plug, I suppose. I like it that HanziHero created a system where you can scrap your way to the answer. I think Wanikani often feels like if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you kind of still don't. And then the idea is you have to be not afraid of making mistakes and then going back and then finding it out and then continuing. So it still has that part. Although if you don't know it, you just don't know it. But Chinese can help, and then vice versa. The reverse is true. MAKU.
挖库，
Oh,
他经常
MAKU.
挖苦我的能力。
No, yeah. You like the regularity and comprehensiveness of their mnemonic system? Yeah. It takes a time to get used to though. And I'm not gonna beat around the bush. The mnemonics that don't work, like the mnemonics that I tweak, the nice thing is if you understand the mnemonic system, you can rewrite it very quickly. I think that's the thing that I really enjoy about the matriculation of HanziHero. In Wanikani, it's still very difficult to write a mnemonic. It doesn't encourage people to write their own mnemonic. And if you think about Mandarin Blueprint, they full stop in the other end. They give you the system, they emphasize the system, and then you built it from day one, right? Day one or day two. So you could have an experience that's even further in the deep end, where they'll give you the system and encourages you to build it. To me, that's not necessarily the middle ground. HanziHero is more like middle ground, because imagine if I gave you a bunch of paintbrushes and a canvas, and I told you how those paintbrushes and canvases and paint work, and then I just leave it to you. How often do you think someone's gonna say, I'm looking at a blank canvas and I don't know what to do with it? That's kind of where it's a risk taking. You have to take the risk. The nice thing about app design in terms of advertisement is if you target the proper audience by like vetting them through optics, which is what I talk about when I play video games. When you can pave expectation and like what people want from your product, and you communicate it properly what your product does, usually then that becomes a non-issue, right? Mandarin Blueprint would be a great example. I haven't used it myself. Would be a great example where if you don't like SpongeBob, Patrick, Legolas, and them, right? and still want the like comprehensiveness of the mnemonic system with its framework, and then you're so much more into thinking in your own mind, that's a way to go. That is definitely a way to go. For me, I can tell you I haven't thought about SpongeBob more than I've ever thought about until I used HanziHero. Like I didn't grow up in the era of SpongeBob. It's kind of funny because you also have to think about George Costanza from Seinfeld. Like, all right, I mean, I've watched a little bit of Seinfeld, but that is a little bit before my time. It presents its own challenge, you know.
木 那
What the nah? Let me see.
年
Heck. Man, those really failed. What? Hold. Oh, whoops. Okay, I got it. So I worked on this and now it's gone.
宗
Alright, we got it back. That's not working.
底
Oops. Resist. My gut feelings are often I'm not that comfortable with doing gut feelings. They're often like 70-30 most of the time.
藏品
它有很大的艺术藏品。
压缩
我们经常把垃圾压缩。
乳头
乳头是胸部的一部分。
What? Should I YOLO this? YOLO! Okay. My feelings betrayed me.
细
Wait.
晒太阳
Okay.
在正午的太阳下晒太阳。
元旦
元旦是新年的第一天。
Oh, we're back. Did this help me at all? Seeing it again. Not really. No. Heck. I tried.
夜 调
That solved itself though. What in the world? Oh.
乙
Alright, we're back. We're back again. Yeah, no. Welcome back. What?
显眼
他戴着一顶显眼的大红帽子。
Obvious. See? Conspicuous. Oh, in a somewhat of a negative way, conspicuous.
"疾病
向疾病开战。
Heck. What is the moon door? Oh no. Not again. Oh, maybe it's
休闲
我们周末会去公园休闲。
it's kind of like pleasure vacation, relaxing vacation. How do you relax vacation? Relax. Yeah. That would make sense. Oh, Chinese.
肌肉
他的肌肉很发达。
Okay. Let's try mnemonic. Where does the mountain come in? Oh.
虫 灯塔
灯塔在夜晚很亮。
薯片
这些薯片很脆。
Heck. Oh.
嫌疑
他的行为让人起了嫌疑。
亮
亮是什么？亮。月亮。
薯条
薯条是很受欢迎的零食。
细菌
这里有很多细菌。
陷入
我不想陷入爱情。
Heck. What in the world? It's probably. Oops. Oh.
肿
Oh, that's swollen.
顽强，
这是一场顽强的战争。
顽强的战争。Tenacious?
爽，
The heck is with the orchid?
护士，
我爱上了我的护士。
I'm gonna say.
桥，
Oh no. Why does that look like Qiao? Maybe like look at. Most satisfying thing is especially with kanji and Hanzi is when you start looking at the characters like, that's just what they sound like. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean what I mean that I know what the character sounds like without knowing the meaning? It's like that's what they sound like. Look, this is a woo. Like, how can you make that mistake? It feels like a woo. I'm kidding, obviously. I'm being a little cheeky here. It obviously takes many hours and days, months, and years before that happens. But when you start feeling it, it's kind of nice. It's difficult to go back. I don't even know why you would want to go back, but you know, take a break from it and then forget, and then come back and probably. I was gonna type ko here, which that would be ko, but not what I'm looking for. Probably
无缘无故，
他无缘无故地哭了起来。
What? Wait. 无缘无故. Oh, is it without cause or reason? It's backwards. All right, buddy. All right. That's an English thing, by the way. Whenever someone uses an or statement, English has very specific ordering, and that makes me laugh all the time. Like, it's not without rhyme. It's not without reason or rhyme. It's without rhyme or reason, right? And then that's kind of the same thing, without cause or reason versus without reason or cause. And then there's like peanut butter and jelly versus jelly and peanut butter, or cheese and mac versus mac and cheese. The LLMs to discern that one.
嫌弃，
别嫌弃这个计划。
So you quit. This is worse than quit. Dislike. How do I be worse than dislike? Hmm.
增添，
音乐为晚会增添了活力。
添加，
公司想要添加更多员工。
爽快，
说话爽快的人很受欢迎。
耳朵，
我的耳朵有点痛。
The what? This one kind of sucks.
鞋，
Harmonious? I couldn't spell harmonious. It's bad.
监督，
政府应该严格监督食品的安全。
镇，研究，
我们需要更多的研究。
YOLO?
剑，
Oh no. What is this?
铜，香港，
我喜欢香港的文化。
Oh, One part of me want to say Nyang, but that doesn't make it. Yeah. Like Xiao Nyang. But why do I... Oh, is this like...
小肠，
小肠是消化系统的一部分。
Okay.
美德，
尊重别人是基本的美德。
Meida? Or like kind, morally? Kind of like kind and morally virtual, yeah. I wanted to say morally kind is kind or morally good. 贤弟. How do you abandon? Dislike and abandon. I guess you could kind of abandon. It's like abandon. Oh, the cold shoulder. I think we're just gonna do like abandon and dislike and abandon, which is the same as dislike and avoid. Or similar enough.
混，
How did it work? Moral excellence? Oh, virtue. That's right. And we're back to this again. Do we get more inspiration? Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that that whole thing is a component, and I don't know what the component is anymore. And I only encoded that component. So we had to rectify that. So this would be one of them. Shun. What was shun? Examine? Pretty sure. Oh no, it isn't. It isn't the component. Dang. Alright, we'll work on that. Kind of halfway. That's what I gotta do. Oh, we're going a little overtime. Just a little overtime. It's gonna be a bit overtime.
"牵动，
每个人都会被牵动。
I guess influence works too.
兔子， 鞋盒，
我找不到我的鞋盒了。
驾驶，
驾驶需要专注和耐心。
Heck! That's not it.
资，
What? No? Oh no. Oh no. Oh wait.
拖欠，
他的房租已经拖欠2个月了。
Like past due. It's like dragged out to be in past due. Arrears. I don't use the word arrears. We're not working with that. That ain't it.
致命，
一座火山是一个致命的地方。
致命. Be life. Until life? Deliver life? 致命的地方? Oh, like deadly? I thought this was sachet. Is that not sachet? Sachet 壶.
洒水壶，
I don't know
洒
what I
水
said.
壶里有水。
Like a watering can. Okay. I was thinking of a sprinkler can. Okay.
中心，
不要小看狗的忠心。
市场，
国际市场，
How did this work? Oh. Is what they want to be in arrears or past due or be in debt, like not making payments on time.
预， 审议，
法院正在审议这起案件。
记，
What incarnation? Old? No. I don't know.
虚构，
这个故事是虚构的。
It's nonsense or fictional.
听写，
请听写我说的话。
That's bull. Wait. No. Wait. No. What happened there? Wait. Jewel. Whoa. Jewel. Yeah, Jewel. Oh, I got the wrong characters.
会，
Heck! Oh, I thought that was it. Huh. What is that? Okay. Pretty sure that is Han to keep or maintain, but man, I thought it was Nah, no dice on the left. It is Fu. Oh, dang it. I got the wrong tone. That's fine. I'll let that go.
周，
I'm pretty sure I typed Fu Han instead of Fu Han. Oh gosh, the iron.
聊天，
请不要在工作时间聊天。
Wrong tone. How does this work? Void? Wait, void and approximate. Or is that not approximate? Oh, void and build? Yeah, void and set up? Took a yeah, fictional, right.
富含，
这食物富含脂肪。
Riches. Pretty sure it's to be rich in, yeah. I actually, instead of riches, richness is what I was going for.
家乡，
我对家乡很有感情。
家乡? I guess home, maybe. I was thinking of like a homey place, like the countryside. What? Oh no. I'm gonna say
我，
it's not a void?
锅，咸鱼，
咸鱼是一种常见的食材。
棒球，
我觉得棒球是一个很无聊的运动。
Uh-oh. Uh...
轮椅，
Okay.
他必须使用轮椅。
替代品，
蜂蜜是蔗糖的替代品。
It's a counterfeit product. Or oh, yeah, a substitute. No, I'm thinking of something else. Oh, I kind of jumped the gun on that one. Yeah, it's a substitution. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Hui. I thought Hui was favor, but not. Oh, it's like kind or something. Oh, what? Isn't like virtue or kind or what? Oh no, I don't. Oh no.
暗示，
请给我一个暗示。
Oh no. That's not good. What? Wait. Oh.
好，
1000s. That's kind of a tricky one.
引导，
你能引导我们怎么去那里吗？
Guide. Fair enough. Ooh. 促进, no?
促进，
促进文化交流。
Like push forward or urge to push forward or progress. Promote, yeah. I haven't thought about promote as push forward. That's interesting. I think the more you learn, because when you're promoting something, you're pushing something forward. You're boosting it as well. I haven't thought of it that way without Chinese, honestly. Wait, okay. Real talk. What is happening here? I don't understand where the turkey thing is coming from. Oh my, converge? Wait, how does converge work on Hui? Oh no. Standalone failed me. Oh, because it's part of the converging thing. Like the water spraying into the box. Dang it. It does kind of regularly mix with the virtuous thing. Being virtuous and kind. Alright. We might... That's a lapse of judgment. A feel bad lapse of judgment. What in the world?
组建，
组建老年合唱团。
组建老年like form, organize. Okay. How did this work? Kind of like avoid and dodge, but not too sure. Oh, ouch. Yeah, I forgot. Dang it, it's earlobe. I even did Ardua, and no, skipping. Ardua. I even typed ear earlier. I just didn't process it alone anymore. That's kind of embarrassing.
扫
Wait. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Wait.
丧失
Okay.
他因为意外丧失了记忆。
I just couldn't decide. What in the clay pot is this? Oh man, you look so nice, and then I don't know anymore. I'm gonna say heck. That's what I'm gonna say. What? What? Wait. Oh, no. 污水.
“歇息
累了就歇息一下。”
傻瓜
只有傻瓜会那样想。
Oh no. Not like this. Dang it. Okay.
胆量胸骨
胸骨位于乳房之间。
Ugh. Wait, how do I screw this up? Oh. Oh. Dang it. Oh, wait.
探讨
我们在会议上探讨这个问题。
What? Hold up.
活跃
The heck? Oh, 感触.
“宿舍
这是我们的新宿舍。
What in the world is the moon and the clay pot and pan? I feel like I thought it was. Heck.
污水、
下水道里有污水。
储备、
我们的储备量需要增加。
描绘、
他用词语描绘了这个城市的变化。
搜救、
他是搜救队的成员。
赚钱、
赚钱不容易。
抱歉、
我感到很抱歉。
Huh? Wait. Countryside. Home? Isn't that just hometown? Ah. Oops. Wrong tone. Wait. Oh boy. We gotta reevaluate that.
牺牲、
他为家人牺牲了自己。
Man, that's such a disappointment on Converge. I lost it. I lost it. We just had this. I lost it. Okay, I got it.
储存、
他把资料储存在电脑里。
Oh, the Y day. What is the Y day?
约、
Y day.
馒头、
他们有什么口味的馒头？
绘声绘色、
一幅绘声绘色的校园画。
Oh. Ooh, I typed the wrong thing.
白馒头、
白馒头很好吃。
Okay. Still don't know what your clay pot business is. Speak to me. Speak to me. I swear this is like take. Like shake. Or like, yeah, shake. Maybe not. Oh no. It is shake. Oh my gosh, it is shake.
摇
I typoed. I typed yo instead of yao. That's fine.
经
I guess. That is not that. How did I screw this up? I had a realization. Now it's gone. Oh,
减速
你开得太快了，减速。
what the stairs, man? Something makes me want to type. Ah, that felt awful. That felt bad. Very bad.
彩绘玻璃
教堂的窗户装有美丽的彩绘玻璃。
穿
Oh, heck you.
审 周
This is from yesterday. Yesterday had a lot of these. Stairs.
奶
No, wait. This isn't stairs, though. Something about going downstairs, praying afterwards, trying to help, volunteer. Frank. But luckily, I think this is gonna get a pass. Yeah, it's 2B. Yeah, that's not great for 2B. This one's okay from
瓦
yesterday. One's okay.
沉
Oh, that's not good.
丁 愉快
这次旅行非常愉快。
What? Silenced? I don't feel like that's silenced.
道歉
我向你道歉。
Oh, apology. Other way. Dang it. My feelings failing so hard on those. do I think it's gua?
瓜
Because it is. Not great.
影小的
我们晓得他的计划。
It is know and understand. Oh. Wait. I actually have no idea what is wrong with that one. Huh.
炒饭
这家餐厅的炒饭很出名。
踢足球
我们周末常常踢足球。
What? Oh no. Not like this. I don't know where the pig goes. And maybe like the pig stole the crown or something. Flower goes here. Oh wait, I do know.
蒙受
他因投资失败蒙受损失。
What? Oh, like, dang, that one's tough. Mong is tough. What in tarnation? What? No. I don't. Oh no. I don't. Oh no. Heck. Oh, that's Bao. And that's probably placenta. I don't actually know why this is. Oh, that's trombone. Okay. So it's not fur. Trombone. How does that work? Like, I don't think this doesn't make sense, right?
宇航员，
宇航员在太空舱中生活。
What the heck is 宇航员? The best I got is like a navigator. What? That awkward feeling when you know the read and have no idea what's going on.
粮仓，
这是我们村的粮仓。
微信，
建立微信需要时间。
I'm so disappointed by dropping this. Uh, 今年 something 说很低，收很低。哦，
税收，
今年税收很低。
很低啊，很低，很低。
诺，
嗯，
军舰，
军舰上有很多士兵。
What? Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, like regain consciousness? Oh, that's just understanding. Knowing. I talked too much of it. That's too deep. We went too deep. Oh, is it astronaut? Oh my gosh, is it an astronaut? That's outer space. Or like Eves. Oh my gosh, heckin' Eves. Oh yeah, we put outer space. It's fine. Heckin' Eves. I'm not. Eves is gonna be so tough. And then this is placenta. All right, we managed to get a pretty good day in. I think two is good. I'll take 2. All right. All right, let's review this stuff. Got 2 new components in one day. That's unheard of. How close are we to all the components? Although I have to add new components at some point. Oh, we are near the end of what Kevin has. Yeah, we're down to the last 16. And then I will retroactively creating new components as well. But they're more like characters within characters. Not too bad. Alright, so we have convex. and tortoise. No, hong. The wu wei wu Dua. Dua. Oh no, it's Jiao. Okay, sorry. I hit the wrong one there. Didn't mean to click. Yeah, Jiao. Ooh, Jiao is weak. Because there's not a big reason to find a claw in the barn. We need to establish a location specificity. Yi什么？一汉骄傲跟尊严庄严庄严谦虚谦虚全全出全念台湾悬挂台湾思绪 缺缺憾情情什么情绪 right okay. All right, so we have Harry Poppers, who is in front of the Zen garden, right? The Zen garden of the temple. He's using his magic to summon a bunch of cars. And showing how the cars work, how their engines rumble, right? Like magic. Alright. Then we have Louis. Louis in the basement of his house. Looking at chess. Finding like a framework spine, right? Where he can decorate with riches. Okay. Then we have Tom, who's in the middle of the house, finding himself in a convex pile of dirt once again, all beat up because Jerry got the best of him once again. Then we have Goofy, who is in front of the beach house. And doing like Goofy things do, he's walking his pet tortoise. Okay. Then we have Bugs Bunny, who's in the basement of Elmer Fudd's place, where he found a magic stick that is a diviner and divination, and turns things into carrots, warning Bugs of the imminent danger that Elmer Fudd presents him. And we have James Bond, who has snuck into the cellar of the barn, where he has acquired the claw. The cow claw. Oh yeah, that's right. The cow claw mission. Operation Cow Claw. And now we have two. Shun. No, Shun. Shun is dollhouse. No, it's just, yeah, dollhouse. Droppings. How do I do droppings? Droppings in field. The problem with Shun is it's in the infirmary, which is very, very weird. And I kind of remember it, sort of. And we have Hui. Converge. This one was really disappointing. We worked on it before because it's kind of a weird one. He's it's converging as opposed to diverging. Okay. So let's look at Shen. To examine. It's about the miracle drug, or the miracle rice patty, super healthy rice, right? Yeah, so Shrek is in the basement of the infirmary, or works alongside. Okay. Alright. Shrek, basement, infirmary. Working alongside nurses, right? And doctors. Maybe he brought magical seeds to create and then dollhouse and special job. Gotta convert dollhouse into enclosure or something. Or maybe brought magic seeds that dropped from a very dollhouse out in the forest and brought it in the field somewhere, right? In the rice field somewhere to be examined for potential health uses. That's not great either. Everything kind of takes place outside of the infirmary. And then Hui. Hui is kind of rough because I think of it as diverging, not converging. Where's converge? So by the bay, there are two spraying streams coming from one of the pipes. He places a box under them where they converge. See, that doesn't make any sense. Slowly filling the box. I mean, that's fair. It's a disappointment. I don't think it'll be fine. It's just converging springs, right? Although it's the Hulk. Gentle Giant? I gotta add Gentle Giant. Oh, you know what? Oh, I got one. I got a way. So let's say Hulk is in the bathroom of the beach house. He noticed separate streams of water, separate streams spraying water everywhere. So he used his strength to shape the streams to converge to fill a box with water for his little turkey friend. Gentle Giant. That's what we're going with Hulk most of the time. Okay. That's it for HanziHero today. That leaves us with roughly 5 hours. Roughly 5 hours to get our Inktober prompts complete. So that's it for today for HanziHero. We're gonna watch this later. 谢谢. As always, feel free to follow along, pick up HanziHero, give it a try for yourself. Let me know what you think. I would love, you are more than welcome, and I would love to hear experiences. Let's exchange some anecdotes, exchange some wisdom, right? And keep each other motivated. As always, until next time, 大家下次见. 感谢观看. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get up, walk around, take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be back for Inktober. Thank you.